In canon, on his way to the summit, Danzo was attacked by assassins. It's hard to say whether the same would happen to Naruto, as it's unclear whether the assassins were after Danzo specifically or just wanted to kill the Hokage. Either way, they either don't show up or are dealt with very easily. Naruto, Shukaku, and Kakashi arrived to the summit a couple hours late. And it's really hard to believe, but the summit actually happens literally the day after Pain's assault. Danzo gets elected as Hokage and then immediately leaves to go to the summit. Same happens with Sasuke. Obito confronts him, tells him about the summit, and Taka and Zetsu go there right away. That doesn't change the fact that Naruto's group would be late here, but I just think that it's a fun thing to point out. The other Kage were impatiently waiting in their own separate rooms for the Hokage to arrive, with the Raikage particularly angry. They were about to start the meeting without him, but Naruto arrived just before that could happen. He's welcomed by the samurai standing on guard. When Naruto, Shukaku, and Kakashi enter the building, they're immediately yelled at by the Raikage. "What took you so long, Hokage? You kept us waiting for hours." "I suppose you wouldn't know about our current situation." Shukaku speaks up before Naruto can say anything rash. "Konoha was just attacked by the Akatsuki. That's why we took so long." While Shukaku and Ei are arguing, Naruto locks eyes with Gaara. In these circumstances, there isn't any time for congratulations, so Gaara just gives Naruto a nod. Naruto nods at Gaara as well, a mutual exchange of respect. Finally, the Five Kage Summit officially begins. Gaara, just like in canon, takes the lead, but Inoki quickly gets into an argument with him. Mei calms him down. Gaara explains that he is a former Jinchuriki and that he considers the Akatsuki to be extremely dangerous. Inoki once again starts belittling him, calling the Sand shameful. Who asks another nation for help in recovering their own stolen weapon? Gaara combats this by criticizing the Tsuchikage's outdated way of thinking, and Naruto joins him to back him up, explaining that cooperation between the Sand and the Leaf has helped both villages several times in desperate situations. Before the debate can continue, the Raikage slams his fist into the table, and all the bodyguards jump out as usual. Every Kage orders their subordinates to calm down, and the meeting resumes with Ei accusing all the other villages of their shinobi comprising the Akatsuki, as well as the fact that some of them have used said criminal organization in the past for war purposes. The debate goes on like normal, only this time Ei doesn't suddenly accuse Danzo of treason against his own village, since Danzo's obviously not there. The conversation continues, and eventually the Kage start debating on whether the Akatsuki even has the capability to control the Bijou at their disposal. The only people who were ever able to accomplish such a feat are Madara Uchiha, Hashirama Senju, the 4th Mizukage Yagura, and Killer Bee. Then, Naruto, in order to gain the upper hand, informs everyone that there's a lot of evidence that the Akatsuki's true leader is Madara Uchiha. Everyone finds this hard to believe, but Naruto explains further. A masked man with a Sharingan eye, who was able to control the Nine Tails, has a deep grudge against the Leaf Village, and is intelligent enough to be able to manipulate the person who originally created the Akatsuki. The only person who could ever fit the bill is Madara himself. To those of you who don't think Naruto would be smart enough to take the lead in the conversation and explain things so thoroughly, I imagine that Kakashi and Shukaku would probably have coached Naruto on how to act, what to say and not to say about their current situation and so on the way to the Kage Summit. Remember, Shukaku and Kakashi are two of the most intelligent characters in the world right now. Shukaku was even appointed as the strategist of the entire Shinobi Allied force. So I think with their teaching, Naruto could pull this off rather well. Anyways, back to the story. Inoki gets curious. The man who created the Akatsuki, what are you talking about? Just how much does the Leaf know about the Akatsuki anyways? We have full intel on 9 members of the Akatsuki, including their previous leader. The Leaf, in one way or another, has also taken out 8 of its members, 2 of which, including the leader, Naruto personally defeated. I find that hard to believe considering his age and how he looks, Ei states coldly. Naruto is about to make a retort, but Kakashi steps in before he could mess things up. He is here for a reason. Naruto's actions have earned him his position as the Hokage. In terms of intel on the Akatsuki, Konoha definitely holds the advantage over all of your nations combined. Since you know so much, why don't you do something with that knowledge and tell us what you think their next move will be? Anoki asks, almost mockingly. The original leader of the Akatsuki was called Pain. His plan was to gather all of the bijou and make them into some sort of super weapon. Then he'd use it to frighten the entire world to the point where no nation would ever try to start a war due to fear of being annihilated instantly. That way he would have attained peace. Peace born from fear and control has no meaning. It only counts if people forge it themselves, Gaara states, and the others support his thought process. I agree too, it's not the right way. However, Pain had his reasons. He was a victim of war. He did the wrong things for the right reasons. With this Madara guy, there's no telling what he would do with that kind of power. You're expressing an awful lot of sympathy for the alleged leader of the criminal organization that's done us all a great amount of harm. I don't support his actions. He killed my master, harmed my friends, destroyed my village. But he was still human. He had his reasons, his motives, his ideology. Naruto then pretty much goes on to explain the basics of Pain's philosophy and gives them his own speech about how human beings should be able to understand each other, overcome pain and try to find a common ground, and finally end the cycle of hatred that brought the Akatsuki into existence in the first place. Otherwise, true peace can never be obtained. Most of the Kages are surprised. This kind of ideology coming from someone so young is unexpected to say the least. What are you getting at, boy? The Raikage is starting to lose his patience. Naruto puts his head down on the table. Please reconsider your intent to kill Sasuke Uchiha. I'm begging you, don't let the cycle of killing for revenge continue. Sasuke became obsessed with vengeance. It changed him. It warped him. He's not the person I used to know. He's not himself anymore. A is a lot more shaken than in the original, mostly because of the newly added context of Pain and his ideology. Still, he goes on to give the same answer he did in canon, but a lot more carefully this time. Yamato and Kakashi then join in, supporting Naruto in his arguments. Actions and strength are what start wars and end up costing the lives of thousands of people. If you continue holding on to your ideas of shinobi, peace can never be obtained. Naruto shouts with tears in his eyes. Shukaku and Kakashi look at him with sadness in their eyes. The Raikage scoffs. Crying in a place like this? Pathetic. Kakashi then gives his own 2 cents to the conversation. You might already know this, but Sasuke killed Orochimaru and Itachi Uchiha. He's also thought to have killed Deidara as well. 3 Akatsuki members died by Sasuke's hand. I think you should consider that factor when making your decision. Gaara then steps in. If I may, I support the Hokage on this matter. We shinobi have already suffered through terrible times of war for long enough. It's time to change our views in order to create a better future. Mifune looks at the other Kage. Tsuchikage, Mizukage, what are your views on this matter? After a few moments, Anoki speaks up first. The Hokage allowed a criminal to shape his views and understanding of the world. He's obviously too young to see that this way of thinking is way too naive and can never become reality. What follows is a conversation very similar to the one in canon. Gaara once again speaks. That kind of thinking will be the end of our world, maybe even the human race. We need sympathy and understanding. Without them, all we're left with is fear. I won't go with any immortal methods or people who would just give up. Not anymore. Easy for you to say, Sprat. You still have no idea what it takes to run a village, much less achieve world peace. So here's your chance. Ask me anything you want. I've been in this game for far longer than any of you. I'll teach you whatever you need to know. Fine, I have one question for you. Attaboy, ask away. I'm a straight shooter. When did you abandon your values? Anoki is left stumped. What a pure-hearted boy. He got you good there, Pops. Shut up. Temari then asks Gaara what he wants to do about Sasuke, to which he isn't sure. The Mizukage then steps in as well. I, for one, support the younglings. Our old ways of thinking have gotten us nowhere. Just like the Kazekage, I believe it's time for things to change. Enough of this, the Raikage yells. Let's settle things my way. You and me, right here, right now. A battle to decide whether Sasuke Uchiha lives or dies. Naruto, having wiped off his tears a little while ago, responds, If that'll get you to change your mind, then I'm in. Wait, Naruto, you can't be serious. Shukaku is mortified at what he just heard. This is no place for a battle between Kage. We've come here to talk, not to fight. Let the boy prove that his words have meaning using his actions. Believe me, I'm planning to do just that. Naruto's fired up now. Kakashi sighs. There's no point in arguing against it. Once Naruto's made up his mind, he won't stop until he gets what he wants. Same goes for the Raikage. Darui sighs as well, but also is smiling at the same time. As long as it's not to the death, I suppose it won't do any harm. We can't stop it anyway, so why not let these two do what they want? Fine, if that's what you want, there's a big open room downstairs. It would be the most suitable battleground here. Meanwhile, under the Leaf Village, in the Root's hideout. Lord Danzo, what's our next course of action? We can't afford to wait any longer. We'll be making a move soon. I'll take the position of Kage by force if I have to. I'm afraid you're not going to live long enough to do that. A voice comes from the shadows. Who's there? Fu shouts, drawing his blade immediately, only to be hit with a genjutsu and collapse to the floor. Well, well, I never expected to see you here, Sasuke Uchiha. For your crimes against my brother, you will die by my hand right here, right now. Far away from both soon-to-be battlefields, Obito is sitting atop the head of the stone statue of the real Madara in the Valley of the End. Black Zetsu appears next to him. How are things going? The masked man asks. Almost exactly like you said it would. Sasuke with the rest of Team Taka is confronting Danzo. Meanwhile, a heated debate is happening at the summit. It appears that Naruto and the Raikage are about to clash with each other to determine whether Sasuke is declared to be a wanted criminal or not. Those fools, bickering amongst each other. Things are going better than I expected. First Nagato's betrayal and then Naruto's appointment as Hokage. My previous plans were in ruin, but that may have been a blessing in disguise. Nagato was a significant loss, but things might turn out to be even better than they would have if Danzo had become the Hokage. So, you're happy with the current situation? I'm certainly not, but this is the best outcome given the circumstances. A white Zetsu then emerged from the ground. Kisame has located the A-Tails. He'll be in range to engage in about 10 minutes. Excellent. Tell him to wait a bit longer before initiating combat. Fight only when I give the signal. Will do. And with that, White Zetsu slipped into the ground once more.